Palo Alto Networks System Engineer Professional. Strata PSE Strata. Real updated questions are good enough for you to pass the test. 1. Which two features are found in a Palo Alto Networks NGFW but are absent in a legacy firewall product? Choose 2. A. Traffic is separated by zones. B. Policy match is based on application. C. Identification of application is possible on any port. D. Traffic control is based on IP, port, and protocol. 2. What are two advantages of the DNS sinkholing feature? Choose 2. A. It forges DNS replies to known malicious domains. B. It monitors DNS requests passively for malware domains. C. It can be deployed independently of an anti-spyware profile. D. It can work upstream from the internal DNS server. 3. Which three considerations should be made prior to installing a decryption policy on the NGFW? Choose 3. A. Include all traffic types in decryption policy. B. Inability to access websites. C. Exclude certain types of traffic in decryption policy. D. Deploy decryption setting all at one time. E. Ensure throughput is not an issue. 4. What are three considerations when deploying user ID? Choose 3. A. Specify included and excluded networks when configuring user ID. B. Only enable user ID on trusted zones. C. Use a dedicated service account for user ID services with the minimal permissions necessary. D. User ID can support a maximum of 15 hops. E. Enable WMI probing in high-security networks. 5. A customer has business-critical applications that rely on the general web browsing application. Which security profile can help prevent drive-by downloads while still allowing web browsing traffic? A. File blocking profile. B. DOS protection profile. C. URL filtering profile. D. Vulnerability protection profile. 6. What is the basis for purchasing Cortex XDR licensing? A. Volume of logs being processed based on data lake purchased. B. Number of nodes and endpoints providing logs. C. Unlimited licenses. D. Number of NGFWs. 7. Which three items contain information about command and control? C2. Hosts. Choose 3. A. Threat logs. B. Wildfire analysis reports. C. Botnet reports. D. Data filtering logs. E. SAS reports. 8. An administrator wants to justify the expense of a second Panorama appliance for HA of the management layer. The customer already has multiple M-100s set up as a log collector group. What are two valid reasons for deploying Panorama in high availability? Choose 2. A. Control of post rules. B. Control local firewall rules. C. Ensure management continuity. D. Improve log collection redundancy. 9. When the Cortex data lake is sized for Traps management service, which two factors should be considered? Choose 2. A. Retention requirements. B. Traps agent forensic data. C. The number of Traps agents. D. agent size and OS. 10. Which profile or policy should be applied to protect against port scans from the Internet? A. Interface management profile on the zone of the ingress interface. B. Zone protection profile on the zone of the ingress interface. C. An App ID security policy rule to block traffic sourcing from the untrust zone. D. Security profiles to security policy rules for traffic sourcing from the untrust zone.